What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this should have been Ask the Phoenix for November 2014. I wanted it to be Ask the Phoenix for November 2014. You guys know the deal. Recently, I've been trying to put out sort of one video a week, give each video each week a little bit of a chance to, other than the Walking Dead stuff, because that's a totally separate thing. But I've tried to let each video breathe a little bit, so usually if it's an Ask the Phoenix week or a preview week, like I do with OKFabe, I usually don't do a Raw review. But WWE and their bullshit had other plans. What did I say? What did I say to all the Daniel Bryan fans out there? You complain about Cena, you complain about, you know, XYZ, you complain about the Authority, and oh, they take over the whole show, they take over the whole show. And I said, you won't complain when your boy comes back and he does the exact same thing. Well, that's exactly what happened tonight on Raw. On the pre-show, we heard a couple of things. We heard we're going to get a tag title rematch. Fantastic. We heard we're going to get the Authority's farewell speech. Fantastic. We heard we're going to get John Cena picking the temporary one-night GM of Raw. Okay. And it's one of those okay. Because if anybody is going to GM Raw for one night, there's three people it should be. Now, I'll go from the bottom to the top. John Cena, I could see. He didn't win the match at Survivor Series, but it was his team. He was the captain. It was his victory, kind of in name only. So, not that I would have wanted it, but if they had had John Cena GM Raw for a night, I could have swallowed it. It wouldn't have been that bitter a pill to swallow. The next obvious answer would have been Sting, because Sting was the deciding factor, the defending factor at the end of the match. He was the one that made his debut. He's going to be the next Impact player in the main event scene, so make Sting the GM for one night. Let the fans get used to him, especially the young fans that don't know who he is. But who is more deserving to either be the GM for the night, or at least be the person to choose the GM for the night, than Dolph Ziggler, the MVP of Team Cena in the efforts to get rid of the Authority? But no, that would make way too much sense. That would do something silly like give credit where it's due. We start off the show with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, awesome as they always are, ranting at the crowd. We've been humbled. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows the background of WWE like we do. You guys are going to be begging for us within 3 weeks. You guys are going to be knocking on Cena's door to bring us back. And they leave. And there's yes chants. Aspirin. Tylenol will have to do. Guys, okay, you guys are fans of Daniel Bryan. I get it. But let me tell you something. Ending Survivor Series with yes chants makes no fucking sense. Oh yes. Okay, now I don't expect you to chant Harper at the end of Survivor Series. Obviously, you're not going to chant for the Big Show because he turned coat. You're not going to chant for Ryback because he's not a main eventer. I would even buy you guys chanting John Cena at the end of Survivor Series. Or, you know, once again, giving credit where it's due, chant for Dolph Ziggler. Oh yes, but no, we have yes chants for Daniel Bryan, who had nothing to do with this victory. Yes, he was victimized by the Authority, and the Authority got the upper hand, at least kayfabe-wise. He got his little fluky, overbooked to hell victory at WrestleMania, and now he's injured. He was taken out. He hasn't done fuck all other than be a keyboard warrior on Twitter and show up on one kickoff in how long? So please tell me how this is Daniel Bryan's victory. So when they announce on the way out, on the Authority's way out, they announce that Daniel Bryan is the GM for the night. Okay, it's gonna get a cheap pop. All the friggin' ROH robots that miss Daniel Bryan get a pop. You get to see Daniel Bryan. He gets to laugh at the Authority. That's fine. But they put him in charge for the night. And yet again, He's there in front of the Authority, doing the arm thing, doing the yes chants, like he's done anything to them, and he hasn't. Let's be real. Let's be absolutely real. And even the commentators come in on this bullshit. Oh, if anybody deserves a victory over the Authority, if anybody deserves to be a part of the victory over the Authority, is Daniel Bryan. Well, storyline-wise, that may be true, but look back to Sunday and look at that victory, and Daniel Bryan had nothing to do with it. At all. And this is a theory that's going to go throughout the night. Daniel Bryan gloats and panders and does all his bullshit, calls out the members of Team Authority, and he's basically going to get revenge on all the members of Team Authority tonight that lost on Survivor Series. And here's where the story, yet again, doesn't make sense. The rest of the Team Authority... Oh my... I trip over my own words with how much this doesn't make any sense. Yes, Daniel Bryan had problems with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. If you want to go back even farther, Randy Orton and Batista. Tell me what problems Daniel Bryan ever had. Tell me what kind of a beating Daniel Bryan ever got from Seth Rollins. Or what the hell's his name? Luke Harper. Or Mark Henry. Or Rusev. Like, he's got no reason to seek out revenge on any of these guys. Or Kane, and we'll get to that in a second, and that's just... Kane's career struggles as it is without the influence of Daniel Bryan. Let me see. But he puts them all in... Sorry, guys. I'm choking on the bullshit right now. He puts them all in ridiculous shit and sets up the rest of the night so that Raw is Bryan. I need, like, these... First match of the night, and he sets it up while he's still talking, is Mark Henry versus Ryback. Mark Henry, unsuspecting, gets clocked from behind by Ryback, gets owned by Ryback in, what, like 2 minutes? Now, here's the thing. There's a couple reasons why people would have wanted to see this. Ryback is back. Ryback just returned. He's babyface again, and he's on the rise. So people want to cheer him. People remember going into WrestleMania thinking he was going to get the victory over Mark Henry because it made sense. He didn't get it. That didn't make any sense at all. So the righting that wrong is cool. So you want to right the wrong, you want to get behind Ryback, but now it's all under the umbrella of, look at this great thing Daniel Bryan did. And we've got these two guys in the ring doing their thing. I don't like big guy versus big guy at the best of times, but I'd rather focus on the guys in the ring. Mark Henry, who's a great heel, Ryback, who's an emerging, you know, edgy babyface, whatever, putting on a half-decent match for as short as it was. The whole time we're thanking Daniel Bryan, where realistically speaking, this was booked by WWE and Daniel Bryan was the mouthpiece that delivered it. But why would Daniel Bryan set up a situation where Ryback, who's supposed to be the face, Daniel Bryan, who's supposed to be the face, Mark Henry's the heel, and he's the one that gets jumped? That's not very babyface. Oh, no, 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 no. Anyways, this is another theory that goes on throughout the night. We come back, we see Steph and Triple H and Vince leaving, Vince telling them how disappointed he is in them, and he's disappointed that he has to spend Thanksgiving with them, and he's disappointed to call them family, and they need to find a way to fix this. So please, out of all of this mess that they've made now, please translate this into a John Cena heel turn. Moving on. The next match that Daniel Bryan gave us is Ambrose versus Harper, which is crap. The recently bisected Wyatt family, Luke Harper is one of the ones that we expect to go really far. He's got a title right now, and Ambrose is probably the hottest thing in wrestling right now. So of course this is a match we want to see. So WWE can't just give us a match we want to see. They have to tell us, look, Daniel Bryan gave you the match you wanted. You want to cheer for Daniel Bryan, derp derp derp. This match was great, had a bullshit finish, and I don't have a problem with it having a bullshit finish. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because if Dean Ambrose had won the Intercontinental Championship match on Raw, it would have been cool for him. But every match going forward, they would have mentioned how Daniel Bryan was nice enough, he was a good enough guy to give Dean Ambrose the shot at that belt, and that's why he has it, and blah blah blah. So, the bullshit that went into this match translates into the bullshit of the finish of this match. Harper pushes Bryan into the referee, causes a disqualification. Harper keeps his belt. And here comes Bray Wyatt to save this segment. Much like Dean Ambrose buried him on Survivor Series under chairs, under tables, whatever, he throws him behind the announcer's desk, traps him behind the announcer's desk, covers him in chairs, covers him in the big, not just steel chairs, covers him in the, what do you call it, the big office desk computer type chairs that the announcers sit on, the cushy ones, the comfy ones, the ones that look really heavy, and stands over him triumphant, leading to their match at TLC. Now, on the other side of the coin, because I'm willing to see both sides, if Dean Ambrose does get the Intercontinental Championship eventually, not with the shadow of, oh, we have to thank Daniel Bryan, I won't mind, because I just recently, and I didn't think about it on Sunday at Survivor Series, because I think we're going to get a TLC match. Fantastic. TLC matches are ladder matches, and you don't have a ladder match without something to chase, so I don't want it to be like last year or the year before, whenever it was, when we had a TLC match that was winnable by pinfall, because that's just a street fight. And if it's TLC, at TLC, it needs to be TLC. I hate to be repetitive, but it is what it is. So as much as I'm glad that Dean Ambrose did not win the Intercontinental Championship tonight, I really hope he does pick it up at some point where Daniel Bryan doesn't get all the credit, because that's crap. Next, we had Santino Marella, who's retired, but it's nice to see him every now and then to be a goofball, and Larry the Cable Guy. And I tweeted on Twitter that somebody needs to wake up Preston and tell him that Rey Mysterio has returned. And then it's like, oh no, it's just Larry the Cable Guy in a luchador mask, which means he's a hell of a lot in better shape than Rey Mysterio, so don't bother waking up Preston, he'll just cry. They got out there for maybe a minute, talked about, you know, how great it is to be on Raw, talked about Jingle All the Way 2, which apparently they're both in. People say this is dumb, well, why is Larry the Cable Guy coming out to shill his movie and whatnot and whatever, but there's a WWE wrestler in it as well, so there is a tie-in. It does make sense, get over it. We have Goldust and Stardust versus Miz and Mizdow in a rematch for the Tag Team Championships. Now, here we go once again with the over-pushing of Daniel Bryan. In the realm of commentary, they say throughout this match, we should thank Daniel Bryan for giving us yet another great match here tonight on Raw. Nice try, guys, but, you know, for those of us that have the network and watch the pre-show, this match was announced on the pre-show before Daniel Bryan was made the GM. That being said, great match. Miz gets injured early. Damien Sandow carries the bulk of the match to the delight of the crowd. Miz, when he sees that victory is imminent, quickly tags himself in, steals the win, and continues that story going forward between himself and Sandow. Golden Stardust looked great. Stardust with the black and red creepy looking outfit only adds to his current heel persona. Cody Rhodes is doing fantastic with this, and I hope it doesn't end anytime soon. People are saying, oh, when are we going to see Goldust versus Stardust? I would say save it till WrestleMania 32. We don't need to fast track it. It is what it is. The match was great. We will see another match between these guys later on down the line. It's funny because I said before going into Raw tonight that we have a heel team and a heel team. So, you know, heel versus heel is a very awkward dynamic, but it's really, to be more correct and to correct myself, I should say that it's heel and heel versus heel and face if you follow the crowd. So that is an even more interesting dynamic. Because I think if it was any other team, people would be behind Stardust because a lot of people are really impressed with what he's doing right now. But Damien Sandow, definitely benefiting from riding the Miz's coattails, is getting quite a following with this gimmick, and I think that's absolutely great. Daniel Bryan makes Kane not the director of operations, but a guy working in the concession stand. Because reasons. I know people think this is great. I know people think the Daniel Bryan-Kane dynamic is great. I will say, in anger management, it sucked. In Team Hell No, it sucked. And this was fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. But we have Rusev's punishment from Daniel Bryan. And here we go once again. Daniel Bryan is your guy's hero. Daniel Bryan is the biggest, most over baby face in the company. But look at the options he gives Rusev here. Now keep in mind, again, Daniel Bryan wasn't on Team Cena, wasn't a rival of Rusev's at all, has never fought Rusev, has never seen Rusev face-to-face and was never beaten down by Rusev in his dealings with the Authority ahead of time. And he talks about Rusev's U.S. title win the same as he talks about Luke Harper's title win. Now, Luke Harper had a lot of the Authority's help to get the Intercontinental Championship. Fair enough. Rusev, in that WWE Network bonus after the show match against Sheamus, he beat down Sheamus single-handedly, fair and square, until he choked Sheamus out. He earned the United States Championship, so I'm really not sure what Daniel Bryan is supposed to be punishing him for, let alone, here are your choices. You can have a battle royal to defend your title against the entire roster, which means, what, 30, 35 people on one? Sure, that's a great babyface move, Daniel Bryan. That's a great way to take the heel steam off of Rusev, because reasons. Or you can recite the Pledge of Allegiance by force. And I'm going to send WWE legend Sergeant Slaughter out there to make you do it properly. So not only is Daniel Bryan, much like the Authority, dictating from the safety of a camera and a Titantron screen, he's sending somebody else to do his bidding in Sergeant Slaughter. But Rusev doesn't say the Pledge of Allegiance. Lana tries to until Sergeant Slaughter basically belittles her, berates her, and Rusev stops it, and he says he's not going to have it anymore. They pop down the big American flag, and when Rusev tries to defend his female manager, which is a babyface thing to do, Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter come down. Now, not only does this ruin the face value of everybody, because now we've got two wrestlers and two non-wrestlers picking on one wrestler and a woman. Please tell me who the babyface was in this scenario. It was Rusev, because he got taken out, his valet got mistreated by legend Sergeant Slaughter. He then got sneak attacked by what the hell is his name? Jack Swagger. And the whole time, the entire crux of Rusev's character has been forcing the Russian culture down everybody's throat. But now, basically, Daniel Bryan's trying to say, look, Americans can be assholes too. We're going to force our culture on you. That doesn't work if he's supposed to be this big, gigantic babyface that you guys all love. Kills whatever little respect Sergeant Slaughter had left, and it makes the babyface run of Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter very, very murky, and it gives me a lot less reasons to hate Rusev. Daniel Bryan can go away now. Just go away. Because none of this is relevant. None of this was meant to impact Rusev, or Swagger, or Coulter, or Lana, or Sergeant Slaughter. All of this was done to build up Daniel Bryan, who's still a gimp, still not wrestling, and yet people are totally okay with that, and yet shit on the 2 or 3 minute video segments we get updating us on Roman Reigns. Something nice. Something that has nothing to do with Daniel Bryan. Rematch from Survivor Series, Justin Gabriel versus the revamped Spanish Fandango. And I didn't mention this on Survivor Series. I meant to, and I didn't. You know what? People can shoot me. Justin Gabriel should be on the main roster, along with Tyson Kidd, who I'll talk about in a second. Fandango? Yeah, they changed his character. He's still a dancer, whatever. He's kind of, I mentioned it a little bit, he's kind of got like a Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze type thing going on now, which I'm sure the ladies will like, and wada yada yada. And they took away the Fandango music, which a lot of people don't like because people can't Fandango anymore. But before, when he had that music, all people were saying was, oh look, it's just your music that's over, not you. So we've taken that away, give him a proper chance to get over on his own, not just because people like to sing his music. It's a good thing, and he's a hell of a lot more aggressive in the ring. He looks like he's went off and polished himself in the ring, and now he brings Rosa Mendez down for all of us to look at. Everybody wins. Great match with Gabriel. Not quite as good as the one on the kickoff, but still great. As I say, nice to see Justin Gabriel coming up from NXT back to the main event roster. He wasn't dressed like Skeletor tonight. Good job. Everybody wins, and it had nothing to do with Daniel Bryan. Fantastic. Big Show comes out. Now, here's the other thing. Twitter blew up with all the punishments that Daniel Bryan was giving to everybody. Why hasn't he punished the Big Show? Because obviously the Big Show was the mole for Team Authority. Big Show, if you follow the match, if you go back and watch the whole match, yes, he did turn on John Cena when he thought he had no choice. When the match was even, he was the first Impact player of the match, taking out Mark Henry in the first minute. So he did contribute to Team Cena's victory. So it's not as cut and dry as people would have you believe. But he comes out, he apologizes, he tries to make his case, and when the fans boo him, he turns on them, and he says, oh, it must be nice to sit where you are, not where I am, and, you know, for all the things I've done for you over the years, I deserve a mulligan, yada, yada, yada. And everybody, and I will say, including me, I will admit when I'm wrong, I thought this was leading down the road of yet another John Cena versus Big Show. We have to make John Cena look good before he faces Brock Lesnar in January type of thing. But it wasn't. He was challenged by Eric, or he wasn't challenged, but he was confronted by Eric Rowan. One of the lines of the night has to be, oh great, upside down Sheamus has something to say, which is kind of true. Take a picture of Sheamus, turn it upside down, kind of looks like Eric Rowan with the beard. I can't, like, I'm struggling with this shit. I can't talk about anybody's beard, but it is what it is, and it's an interesting dynamic. And Rowan rather, just gonna stop messing up those names soon. I know I've done it a couple times in this video already, but Rowan pretty much looking Big Show in the eye, and he's keeping up this gimmick of he says very few words. You know, leading into Survivor Series, one night all he said was freedom, one night all he said was win. Tonight all he said was I don't like bullies, and Big Show fucked off. So Rowan's got like sort of creepy happy entrance music now too, which it puts out that idea that he is going out there and doing good things, but he's still kind of unstable, still unpredictable, still that edgy babyface character like Dean Ambrose, like a couple of other people I could mention, not like Daniel Bryan or John Cena, who are cut from the same cloth and yada yada yada. Oh my god. Speaking of Daniel Bryan and John Cena being cut from the same cloth, AJ gets screwed by the Bellas. Oh yes, and why are you beeping at me when I'm trying to do a video? Fuck. Okay. I try not to be one of those conspiracy guys. I really do. I really try not to be one of those guys like Preston who does the whole, oh, WWE's punishing this guy because he's friends with this guy, or this guy got a push because he's friends with this guy, and I make fun of those people most of the time, but really, Mrs. John Cena and Mrs. Daniel Bryan making a fucking joke of Mrs. CM Punk. That's all this is. Let's see. Let's do this out. Got screwed at the pay-per-view, Mrs. CM Punk. Got handed a title victory, Mrs. John Cena. Got bullshit overbooking on Raw like Daniel Bryan got at WrestleMania, Mrs. Daniel Bryan. This is crap, and if this is the road we're going down, I don't blame her for leaving. AJ is the single best thing you have going in the Divas division right now. My favorite current diva. You know, just this much above Paige, who you're also burying, who wasn't even on the show tonight. Good job, WWE. But as much as I love seeing AJ on my television screen and in that ring, if this is how you guys are going to treat her, AJ, go home, chill with Punk, fuck these guys. All of them. Whoever made these decisions, be it Vince, Triple H, whoever the booking crew is, yada yada yada, I swear to God the Bellas suck massive cock if this is the trail we're going down. Just saying. Save my sanity just a little bit. Harmless fun when Tyson Kidd and Natalya Neidhart beat the Rose and the Bunny in an interspecies tag team match. Oh, it's so dumb, it's so dumb, it's so dumb. Here's the thing. People complaining about Cesaro not being on the show. Adam Rose and the Bunny have more of a storyline than Cesaro does. Sorry about your luck. And it gets Tyson Kidd and Natalya Neidhart onto Raw representing NXT, and it brings up Adam Rose, who is on Raw from NXT. So as I say over and over and over again, those of you complaining that NXT isn't getting enough exposure can suck my dick. New Day promo from Kofi and Xavier Woods and Big E Langston. Great promo, nice to see them all together. The only thing I don't like is Big E talking about how he's strong and Kofi talking about how he flies and Xavier Woods saying how he's smart. A promo like that could shoot them in the foot, because Big E Langston saying, "I'm the strong one," the other half of that logic being that the other two are weak. Xavier Woods coming out here saying, "I'm the smart one," the other half of that logic being the other two are dumb. And Kofi Kingston coming out there being the high flyer, basically saying he's the exciting one, saying that the other two are dull. If they can avoid that train of thought, this group could be a lot of fun. And you know what? They're debuting next week. I'm glad they didn't debut on the Daniel Bryan Palooza Raw, because they would have been buried too. Let's just be real. Because Daniel Bryan hasn't ruined Kane's career enough already, we have a food fight between Ryback and Kane in the back at the concession stand after Kane gets yelled at by his concession supervisor, who's about this tall. The last match of the night, set up by Mr. Daniel Bryan, was Cena and Ziggler versus Rollins and two partners of the WWE Universe's choosing. It could have been Luke Harper, who's already had a match tonight, and Kane, who's been working concessions all night, or it could have been Mark Henry. No, I'm wrong. Let me get the bullshit choices right. It could have been Mark Henry, who's already had a match tonight, and Luke Harper, who's already had a match tonight, or it could have been Mark Henry, who's already had a match tonight, and Kane, who's been working concessions all night and already been in a brawl with Ryback, or two guys that haven't wrestled in 10 years in Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. So, once again, Daniel Bryan, who's supposed to be this big bad babyface, putting the popular heel, who's almost a face in Seth Rollins, in a situation where he's got to struggle, 1.5 against 2. Obviously, J&J Security, which is what Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble are called now, which is also really dumb. They won the poll because it's funny, I guess. They had an okay match. And here's the thing, Ziggler and Cena actually sold for Noble and Mercury, which I will give them 100% credit for. Ziggler bumps for anybody. We know that because he's a consummate professional. John Cena bumped for these guys a couple times in this match, and you know what? I know John Cena doesn't sell for anybody, and I know this was for comical value, but kudos to John Cena for that. Really. Eventually, Rollins, like me at this point, walked out on this match. The J&J Security got a zigzag and an attitude adjustment simultaneously, and with Rollins walking out, they got a victory over two cruiserweight former wrestlers, which isn't much of a victory, but Ziggler main evented, so... Sorry, Ziggler and Rollins main evented, which I hope becomes something going forward. So maybe that is the one silver lining we can pull out of this crap. But once again, and I say again and again and again, Daniel Bryan comes back out. To do what? To do what happened at SummerSlam. To do what happened at the beginning of the show tonight. To come down and celebrate a victory that he had nothing to do with. Cena and Ziggler's victory over these three, which wasn't much of a victory anyway, was celebrated with Daniel Bryan and the crowd doing the yes chants. And then to save my sanity and to let you know how far down this show has dragged me, we heard that sound. We heard... We heard the infamous words from Michael Cole, "Can I have everybody's attention, please?" And everybody groaned. And if you look at the shot that the camera was taking at the time, JBL, head desk, and sure, whatever. But Michael Cole announces, to everybody's chagrin, that we are getting the anonymous Raw general manager next week on Raw. And you know what? Anonymous Raw general manager for next week, after this abortion that Daniel Bryan brought us tonight, I welcome you. I welcome you with open arms. Can I get you a drink? This was crap of the highest order. Oh yes. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Tell me what you thought of Survivor Series, how they dropped the ball with the Divas, how they mercilessly handed this show over to Daniel Bryan tonight, and any other shit. You got one more day to get me questions for my Q&A. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.